Hi everyone, I hope you guys are keeping well. Today I'm going to share with you a series of exercises for L4, L5, L5S1 disc bulge in a seated position. This routine can simply help you to start your rehabilitation in a seated position and slowly improve your mobility and your pain. If you're suffering from L4, L5, L5S1 disc bulges or sciatica, in many cases you might not have enough mobility or range of movements to lie down on the ground or do the exercise on a seated position. This routine, I've picked up 5 simple but very effective exercises for your lower back pain that can help you with your pain and mobility. Let's get started. If you've never been in this channel, my name is Bob, I'm a physical therapist, and the purpose of this channel is to help people like yourself with simple tips and exercise for quicker recovery. Make sure to subscribe my channel for my weekly update and press that like button. Alright guys, I'm going to start this routine with back extension or McKenzie technique, which is a very simple but effective technique for your back pain and mobility. This exercise literally helps you with improving the pain for L4, L5, L5S1 disc bulges or sciatica pain. I'm going to show you how to do it and you can give it a try. You got to find a very comfortable seat and basically what we're trying to do, apply slight pressure with your thumbs around your hip bone. You find your hip bone at the back and create that extension, which means you don't want to push it too much. Slow down, focus on the breathing. Breathe in and breathe out, which means from the neutral position, you bring this to extension. Now, in some cases, if you find just up to here, you can bring your basically back to extension, that's totally fine. Slowly build up that movement, which means you don't want to force it. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, what you are actually getting out of this movement is that you want to promote that movement and mobility to your lower back. If you're suffering specifically from L4, L5, L5S1 disc bulges, back extension or McKenzie technique, it's a very simple but effective technique for you to help you with pain and mobility. Try this exercise daily at least once for 3 sets of 8 to 15 repetitions. If you're suffering from L4, L5, L5S1 disc bulges or sciatica, in some cases you may have experienced some tingling sensation down to your leg or shooting pain down to your leg, up to your knees or up to your toes. Now, in this exercise that I'm going to show you now, which we call it nerve glide, you can improve that pain, shooting pain and tingling sensation. I'm going to show you how to do the nerve glide and you can give it a try. You're going to be in a seated position and you're going to copy my movement. I presume that I have pain on my left side. We're going to go basically bring the toes up and your neck basically goes back. My body is stable and then I'm doing the opposite movement, which means bringing this movement very gentle. Slow control down and back up again. Down, back again. Now I'm bringing my toes to dorsiflexion and my neck goes back to extension. Now, if you find this exercise is a little bit too much at the start and you don't feel comfortable with your leg, what can you do? It basically, what you want to bring the legs up to the certain point that you feel comfortable and just literally mobilize the neck. When you do this a couple of times, then you probably will be able to bring the legs a little bit higher and do the same thing. Slow. As you can see, I'm not moving my body, it's just my neck that moves. And in other cases, that what you could do, you could basically even just bring the toes up and just keep the neck in a neutral position and just move the toes. Just like that. Very simple and slowly. Now, this exercise, nerve glide, can help you to improve that tingling sensation down to your glutes or a shooting pain down to your glutes and your leg. And if you're suffering from L4, L5, L5S1 disc bulge or sciatica, this is a brilliant exercise for you to do. You can try this exercise for 3 sets of 8. I would suggest you to do them for both sides if you have time. Otherwise, stick to the side that is sore and painful and progress this movement up to 3 sets of 15. The following exercise that I'm going to show you guys is going to be figure 4 stretch. If you're suffering from L4, L5, L5S1, disc bulges or sciatica, in some cases, there is a muscle that we call piriformis that pass along a sciatica nerve, and in some cases, 2% in population, people that basically sciatica nerve pass through this muscle. We're going to basically stretch that muscle because in some cases that muscle get pretty tight and is aggravate that sciatica nerve and create the similar signs and symptoms. I'm going to show you how to do it and you can give it a try. You're going to be in a seated position and cross the leg that actually feels sore, which means if I have pain on my left side, I cross that leg on the other leg. And I'm trying to eventually, like literally even getting to this position can be a little bit difficult for many people because it can be very sensitive and sore. Now, how basically this muscle works, this muscle is a very small muscle, but is the external rotator of your hip. And what we're trying to do with bringing these legs to the other side and crossing it, you basically stretching that muscle already. If you feel comfortable and you want to increase the pressure and the stretch on the piriformis muscle, you basically want to lean slightly on that leg, which means apply slight pressure on the knee and slightly lean forward. You don't want to bend too much forward. And focusing on your breathing, breathe in and out. Hold it there between 15 to 20 seconds. You can progress it all the way to 30 seconds. I'm going to show you the same stretch from the side that you can actually see how far I'm leaning forward. I'm crossing this leg forward. Initially, I'm just going to stay there and apply slight pressure. I'm not going to lean forward. I'm going to apply pressure with my hands. Breathe in and out. As soon as I felt the stretch is actually easing off, I can apply a little bit more with my arm. And breathe out. You're not only stretching the piriformis, you're stretching your hip muscle, which can be a pretty tight muscle usually. And that's why you might feel, okay, you know what, this is very difficult. But as soon as you practice this exercise and this stretch in a daily basis, you can practice it 2 to 3 times a day and hold it for 30 seconds for 3 to 4 rounds. Alright guys, if you're suffering from L4, L5, L5S1 disc bulges, you will definitely find in many cases that you will have a very tight hamstring, which means if you're bending forward in any occasion, you feel a tight feeling in the back of your thighs and it kind of like limits your range of movements and mobility. Now, I'm going to show you a very simple standing hamstring stretch that you can try without aggravating your symptoms. Now, in most cases, people, what I see commonly they basically not really realize that if you don't exclude your hip movement from the stretch, unfortunately, you're not stretching your hamstring. You basically, if you're bending forward with the kind of curved back, this basically stretching your back is not necessarily you feel anything on the hamstring until a very low point. Now, if you do the same thing, just to give you an example, with kind of like keeping the back like a hinge, which means leaning forward. Now I feel even in this position that actually my hamstrings are getting that stretch. Now we're not trying to do that. We're trying to basically use a chair. You can put your foot up. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to like literally keep your back nice and tall and bring that toes up if you want to, if you feel comfortable. And with the same hip hinge, I'm not trying to bend my back. I'm keeping my back nice and tall. My hands on my knee. And I lean forward. I can feel the stretch already. Hold it there for 15 to 20 seconds. Breathe in and out. Don't tighten up anywhere. If you want to feel the stretch a little bit more, you can bring that toes a little bit more to dorsiflexion. And you can come back up. Now, you want to practice the same thing on the same side, or you want to change it. You can change legs and do the same thing in the other side. Keeping that back basically in a hinge movements forward. Don't bend the back and lower back. I can feel stretch already here. It's actually pretty simple, but it's very effective. Now, if I wanted to ease it off, I'll bring my toes back or slightly bending my knees. I can still feel the stretch, but not as much. And you can do the opposite, which means bring the toes back up and bend, kind of lock the knee, and you can feel the stretch more. This stretch, guys, is very simple, but at the same time, it's very good. If you're suffering from L4, L5, L5S1 disc bulges or sciatica, like hamstring muscle can be very tight, and in some cases it might actually feel the hamstring. It's the one muscle that actually can bother your pain. Give it a try daily, at least once or twice, and you will see huge changes on your mobility. I would like to share with you 3 important tips that to follow for your optimum results. Tip number 1 is to follow this routine consistently, minimum once a day and for minimum period of 3 to 4 weeks, which means you need to follow this consistently to see changes. The tip number 2 is to avoid activity and exercise that you do through the day that aggravate your pain. If you know that certain activity does bother you, try to avoid those activities for a while and try to do those things that actually doesn't bother your pain. And with following this exercise that I showed you in this routine, you can actually recover quicker. And tips number 3 is that to avoid complete rest. I always say this in all of my videos, that rest unfortunately not going to help you to improve your symptoms. Stay active as much as you can and make sure to follow a rehab plan to help you to recover quicker. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you guys find this video helpful, and if you have any question or suggestion, just leave me comments underneath of this video and I will be happy to get back to you. If you need further assistance, you can always book an online consultation with me and I will go through an hour, a customized plan for you for quicker recovery. Don't forget to subscribe my channel for my weekly update and press that like button. Until next week, all the best.